Okay guys, today we are going to talk about the attributes of shapes. There are three different attributes that we're going to be discussing today, and they're going to help us be able to identify the different parts of shapes. So the first kind of attribute we're going to talk about are faces. And these are all attributes of three-dimensional shapes, 3D shapes. And we remember from previous lessons that we call it 3D because there are three dimensions. There's height, there's length, and there's width. So a square would not be a 3D shape because a square only has length and width. We have 3D shapes like cubes, triangles, cones, prisms, pyramids, all of those are three-dimensional shapes. So when we're working with faces, faces are the flat surfaces of a three-dimensional shape. So with faces, they're the flat surfaces. Okay, so let's look at a three-dimensional shape so we can see the different parts. So we'll take a cone and we'll take a cube. Now we're talking about the faces of these three-dimensional shapes. So looking at those different faces, we have this cone right here. Now remember that faces are the flat surfaces. So when we have a cone, this part right here, it's not flat, it's curved, it goes around the shape. So that would not be considered a face. But if we look at the bottom of the cone, that's flat. That's what the cone sits on. So that would be a face. So a cone has how many faces? It has one face. Now when we're talking about something like a cube, all the parts of a cube are flat surfaces. So we have the front, we have the back, we have the top, we have the bottom, and we have the two sides. And so that would be 6 faces. So all we have to remember is that faces are the flat surfaces. They cannot be curved. The second part of a three-dimensional figure that we're going to be identifying are the edges. Now the edges are where 2 or more faces meet. Where 2 or more faces meet. So let's take those same two shapes that we had before, a cone and a sphere. Now we're talking about edges. So edges are where 2 or more faces meet. Now, we remember on a cone that a cone only has this one face. So, can a cone have any edges? No, the cone cannot have any edges because you have to have at least 2 faces to have an edge. So the cone has no edges. Now, looking at the cube, this face and this face meet to form this edge right here. This face and this face meet to form this edge right here. This back face and this bottom face meet to form this edge right here. So every spot there's 2 faces that are meeting to form the different edges. Now when we're counting the edges on an exam or on a paper, it's really easy to make sure that you don't make mistakes. Edges are the most missed questions that we have dealing with 3D shapes because people accidentally miss 1 or 2. So the strategy I take is I make sure that if it's asking me for edges, I'm going to get my pencil and then I'm going to go very dark over every single edge to make sure I get them all. So I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I get them all? No, there's still 3 more. 10, 11, and 12. Now that I've done that, I can't see any more lines, so I know that my cube has 12 edges. The final attribute of a 3D shape that we're going to talk about is the vertex. Now the plural of that word is vertices. So you may hear me say vertex if we're only talking about 1, or you may hear me say vertices if we're talking about more than 1. Now, a vertex or a vertice are where 2 or more edges meet. Now that sounds a lot like the last definition. When we were dealing with edges, it's where 2 or more faces meet. So when we're dealing with vertices, it's where 2 or more edges meet. So we're going to take those same 2 shapes that we had before, and we're going to see if we can find the vertex. Now, a lot of people say, oh, the vertex, the vertices, they're just the points on the shape. Okay, well, look at this cone. To find a vertex, we have to have 2 or more edges. This one only has 1 edge. No, that only has 1 face. So it doesn't have any edges. There are no edges on this shape. So can there be a vertex? No. Even though it looks like it makes a point up here, a cone does not have any vertex or vertices because there are no edges. So when we look at this cube, we see that this edge, and this edge all come together right here to form a vertex. So yes, it is very easy to say that, oh, it's just the points of a shape. But we have to remember that the vertices are where two or more edges meet. And when I'm on a test doing this, I always make sure that I go and circle every single vertex that I can find to make sure that I've got them all. And then when I count them, I see that, oh, this cube has 8 vertices. So those are the 3 different attributes of 3D shapes. We have faces, which are the flat surfaces of a shape, not curved, flat. We have edges, which are where 2 or more faces meet. And then we have vertex, or vertices, where 2 or more edges meet.